Fast food burgers are eating good this month. McDonald's has released its latest burger product, the Big Arch, and Burger King has come out with its new and improved Whopper. And with so much meat being flung around, I got to asking myself, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, which of the three biggest fast food burgers is the meatiest? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, the show that knows how to bite a burger product. I mean, seriously, what is this?
A moment of truth.
You're the CEO of McDonald's, my guy! And he's actually flown under the radar. He did the exact same thing for National Burger Day, and not only did he not swallow for like a minute after taking the bite, but you can tell he was just waiting for the cameras to cut so he could spit it out into that napkin. Mickey D, listen, you pay me half of what you pay your CEO, and not only will I take a real bite, I'll swallow too.
What did he say?
Who would have thunk a food channel would make me say such questionable things on the regular? But I digress. That product good old Chris Kemczynski is allegedly eating is called the Big Arch, McDonald's latest and greatest creation to hit the scene stateside. And that's an important thing to note because some of you watching overseas may already have some experience with the Big Arch, especially if you're in the UK, France, Portugal, Canada, and Switzerland. But in the US, customers are only now able to dig into the poppy and sesame seed bun, tangy Big Arch sauce, lettuce, pickles, onions, crispy onions, and 3 slices of cheese, meltingly hugging 2 juicy all-beef quarter-pound patties. Not gonna lie, it sounds fire. It was already in my weekend plans to get it, but I knew I had to make an episode as soon as I saw this picture on Reddit. You're probably seeing it immediately too. Both of those supposedly have 2 quarter-pound patties, but one of them seems significantly bigger than the other. And not just because of the extra toppings, though those do make a difference, but the patties themselves seem to be different too. Out of curiosity, I started Googling around on the topic and saw that Burger King also just released their new and improved Whopper, which honestly also looks pretty damn fire. And that's when it hit me. I don't know what I'm eating for lunch tomorrow. And that's when it hit me, are all quarter-pound patties built equal? And that's when it hit me, I can find out myself and write it off as a business expense. Pray for my arteries, mis amigos, because I'm getting every double quarter-pound burger from the holy trinity of fast food burger joints to find out which is the meatiest burger of them all. Now, I'm gonna level with you all. I'm expecting a pretty big life change soon. And we've been doing a bunch of planning here at Theorist so that our steady stream of content that you're clearly being notified about, because you've subscribed and clicked the bell for, isn't interrupted. It's been a lot of hard work from so many talented people on the team. Yeah, and I've ruined it all with this episode. This truly was such a spur-of-the-moment inspiration thing that I've thrown everything into disarray, and because of that, this may not look or feel like the typical episode, because chaos is my middle name. Well, actually, my middle name is you almost got me. You almost got me. Point is, I had to do all of this pretty quickly. You'll even notice I have my notebook right there on the counter with me so that I could jot down all the information I needed quickly. I didn't even have time to tell Claudia I was doing this. Let's dig into this, shall we? Hey.
Are you doing a taste test?
Yeah.
With McDonald's?
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me?
Of course. Do you want?
Duh!
Okay, you know what? This is actually even better. Let me get you a mic. Hold on, stay right there. Needless to say, I indeed suffered the wrath of a hungry pregnant Cuban lady. So while I rushed to get her a mic, let's break down exactly what we're doing. See, the thing that the Big Arch, the double quarter pounder, Wendy's double, and the double Whopper all have in common is the use of 2 quarter-pound patties. But I want to see if that is in fact the case. Now, the most important thing for us to keep in mind here is that the quarter-pound is pre-cook weight. The post-cook weight will inevitably be less. So no, you're not actually getting a half a pound of meat per burger. Spoiler, yeah, I guess. But they do it this way because it's much easier to standardize beforehand and not after it's cooked when they're trying to get it to you as quickly as possible. Can you imagine? You're there in the drive-thru, the employee starts to hand you your burger, when suddenly another employee comes, snatches the bag, unwraps the burger, slaps the patty onto a scale, makes sure it's a quarter pound, and then puts it all together before throwing it at you and slapping you for good measure. Why do they slap you? I don't know, but it was funny to me. Anyway, from the start, we know that none of these should be at a quarter pound, since during the cooking process, water evaporates and fat in the meat renders and melts away. General rule of thumb is that you can expect to lose about 25% of the pre-cook weight. Now, there are variables that can help reduce how much you lose, like not cooking at a super high temp, cooking it at lower temps for a longer time, and not adding adding water or salt to the meat so as to artificially inflate the weight for higher profits. Things that no fast food place in their right corporate greedy minds would ever do. Basically, the question here isn't which one is actually a quarter pound, since that's none of them, but which place's burgers lose the least amount of weight. But sometimes just having more meat doesn't mean it's gonna necessarily taste the meatiest. So Claudia and I will be taste testing all these burgers first with our patent-pending Triple S system, the Subjective Schmeat Scale. Then we'll weigh multiple patties to see how much meat each place actually tends to give you, and finally, we'll find the meat to dollar ratio for each burger. That way, by the end of this video, you'll know which burger tastes the meatiest, which burger is the meatiest, and which burger gives the most meat per dollar spent. The 5 burgers we'll be testing are obviously the Big Arch and the new Double Whopper, as well as the Double Quarter Pounder from McDonald's and Wendy's Double. I've also added the Big Mac here because even though it's not marketed as a quarter pound patty burger, it is the most famous double patty burger. And I was curious to see what the true difference between it and the Big Arch would be. Plus, it's delicious. Look at the Big Mac. Look at that right there.
Bread in the middle.
Now that's what I call a bite.
It's so good.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, right off the rip for me, there's a lot of bread and that Big Mac sauce, which is amazing, but I don't get that much meat. Then once you get through it, it hits you in the back of the mouth, that meat.
Delicious, but you know, the extra layer of bread it takes away from the meat.
Yeah, so for me, I would probably give this like a 3 out of 10 on a meat scale, like a meat flavor scale. 3 out of 10.
3, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Double Quarter Pounder. Oh, okay, well, okay, go for it.
You went first last time.
That right there, that's the Viking face of dominance.
Look at that, look at that. All right. Oh my God.
Oh.
I've been a Big Mac person as of late. My favorite order is a Double Quarter Pounder with Big Mac sauce. But when you order on Uber Eats, they don't let you add Big Mac sauce. So I've just been a Big Mac person for the past like couple years.
I'm a Double Quarter Pounder girly.
It's so good. It's so meaty.
Yeah, definitely meatier, but like greasier meat, which
yeah.
I'm not mad about.
Claudia is onto something here. Something that, after filming and doing more research for this episode, I found to be fascinating. See, the reason we noticed a greasier taste may come down to the fact that the Quarter Pounder at McDonald's is the only burger on the regular menu that isn't frozen, and instead is made with fresh beef. Being fresh means that it has more moisture and retains more of its natural flavor, which means our tongues are picking up more of that meat flavor with every bite. Being fresh and not frozen is a big selling point, which is why it's Wendy's tagline. So good on you, Mickey D, for being humble and keeping it low-key, or just not wanting to highlight that every other burger on your menu is frozen. Same, but different.
All right, what's your rating there?
5.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not mad about that. I'm gonna go with a 5 as well.
Not a bad start for the Arches. But now, moving on to the star of the show, the Big Arch.
Let's see the Big Arch.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay, let me.
Look at the bun.
Yeah, the bun is like bigger in circumference. It's a lot wider.
It's big.
It looks like it's taller. Just like the meat itself looks taller. This is hefty. Let me do the CEO. Oh, I don't know how to handle this. All right, no. Yeah, she's having a moment. Claudia has this thing where when she eats something that she really likes, she like has to close her eyes and have a moment. And I say it as if I don't do that exact same thing. We're both foodie people. What are your thoughts?
So well balanced. The white cheddar, I was not expecting to love it like that. Good pickles, good sauce. Also, that meat is like more undercooked, which I personally like.
Right.
A little scary for McDonald's, you know?
Especially for a
so
pregnant woman.
I like this better overall, but I know we're focusing on meat.
Yeah.
Meatiness.
Yep.
It's definitely less meatiness than the Double Quarter Pounder.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with a 4.
Claudia and I both agreed on this round, though for different reasons. I brought my score up from a 3 because while the initial bite just didn't give me that much meat flavor, the sauce really accentuated it and gave a great meaty aftertaste. But what interested me the most about this burger in my post-filming deep dive was that the lesser meat taste may have a good reason for it. Nowhere in their official descriptions of it do they mention fresh beef being used for the burger. I saw reviewers claim that it used fresh beef, but their own website is careful not to mention that, which is the same for their other patties that are frozen, like the Big Mac, while the Quarter Pounder line does specifically state that the patties are fresh beef. This may mean that the limited edition Big Arch uses entirely different frozen patties, explaining why they seem to be taller than the Quarter Pounder. But speaking of fresh, never frozen,
I can't remember the last time I had a Wendy's burger.
Have they always had this bun?
Yeah, this like kind of brioche.
I didn't remember
potato.
that.
And that big square schmeat. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Gotta match the bite, guys. That is
Whoa.
hefty.
Yeah. Is Wendy's better than I remember? Is Wendy's better than I remember? It kind of slaps.
Wendy's was, in fact, better than I remember. It was juicy, and the umami was really strong here with the ketchup and the mayo balanced really, really well. I gave it a 6, while Claudia put it on par with the Big Arch and gave it a 4. But what does she know? She doesn't even know what we're doing here.
It's got 3 patties, right?
2. This is a double cheeseburger. She walks in on my set and doesn't even know what we're doing.
No, I don't know what you're doing. I saw you eating without me, and I was very alarmed.
I love that she's not concerned about helping me. She's just there for the burgers. Anyway, on to the final burger of the taste test, the new and improved Whopper.
This is the brand new Whopper. It's just come back
That
out.
thing is big.
That's what she said. Up top. Now, no one? Whatever, you all suck.
Oh,
Can't remember the last time I had a Whopper.
me neither, but
I gotta match the bite.
this for me is like an 8 on the
That's
meaty
a
flavor.
lot of meat.
I feel like much more meat is in my mouth.
I heard it, and I stand behind it. This burger is by far the meatiest tasting of the bunch, and it all comes down to the patties actually being flame broiled. A highly specialized industrial broiler, but flame broiled nonetheless. This is key because the fat and moisture from the patties vaporize and smoke up, giving them a distinct and distinctly meaty taste. Honestly, I've never been the biggest fan of the Whopper because they've historically used way too much mayo for my taste. But this new and improved Whopper handedly took home the gold on the subjective schmeat scale. Though Claudia and I did agree that the Big Arch was probably the best overall burger of the bunch. You know, before she had her fill and ditched me to weigh patty after patty after patty. Now, for the measurement, we weighed 3 of each burger and took the averages to get a decent idea of where each burger's patty lands. Obviously, there is some variation here from location to location, and we aren't measuring hundreds of patties, but I'm not crapping money, so here we are. The other thing we included for these measurements was the standard cheeseburger from each location. That way, we know where the baseline is for each restaurant and how different the quarter-pound patties are in comparison. The results were actually fascinating. At Wendy's and Burger King, the regular cheeseburger patties clocked in at an average of 1.2 ounces, but McDonald's cheeseburger came in at a whopping 1.4 ounces, though it did boast the highest price tag of $2.79 here in Miami. Funny enough, or incredibly depressing enough, the Big Mac average was 1.15 ounces, meaning the average Big Mac patty is less meat than a regular burger patty. Tisk tisk, Ronald, tisk tisk. As for the quarter-pound patties, the quarter pounder at McDonald's surprisingly came in last place with an average of 2.7 ounces per patty, meaning they lose 1.3 ounces of that cook weight. Wendy's was close with 2.8 ounces. The two new kids on the block, the Big Arch and the new Whopper, both came in at least 3 ounces. The Big Arch was surprisingly consistent across all the patties we measured, barely deviating from 3 ounces exactly, while the Whopper had a bit more deviation, dipping down to as low as 2.9 ounces or as high as 3.2 ounces, bringing the average to 3.05 ounces and taking the crown, even if it's by a hair, which I think may actually weigh more than 0.05 ounces. But that's not all. After all, the race seems to be a close one between the Big Arch and the Whopper here. Claudia and I preferred the overall taste of the Big Arch, while the Whopper had the clear, meatier flavor, and both hovered at around the same average weight per patty, meaning you can't really go wrong with either, until you take price into account. Now for this, remember that we're multiplying the number for each patty by 2, since each burger comes with 2 quarter-pound patties. Not surprisingly, the Big Mac's weak meat showing has it dead last in this category, with a not-so-big 0.34 ounces per dollar. What is surprising, and shakes up the results quite a bit, is the Big Arch coming next, and behind all the other burgers with 0.56 ounces per dollar. Despite having big, chunky patties, the highest price tag of the day, $10.79 in my area, brought it crashing down. And in fact, McDonald's takes all 3 of the bottom spots, with the quarter pounder actually tying the Big Arch at 0.56 ounces per dollar, only coming in slightly above it because it technically has a better dollar per ounce ratio at $1.78 as opposed to the Big Arch's $1.80. Wendy's value shined here, having the cheapest burger of the bunch at $9.14, meaning you're getting 0.6 ounces of meat per dollar spent. And say it ain't so, the winner, sweeping damn near every category including this one, is none other than Burger King's new and improved Double Whopper, with a whopping 0.66 ounces per dollar. The Whopper may have gone through its awkward high school phase for the past couple of decades, but it's finally reached college, reinvented itself, and is doing pretty damn well. Meaning, if you're looking for the schmeatiest, best bang for your buck, double quarter pounder burger, the clear choice is the King. But if you're someone that's just here for a good tasting burger product and don't care that it lags behind in value, the Big Arch is a big win in our book. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Buen provecho. And hey, did you know that fries may be going away forever? Click the link on screen now. And as always, I'll see you next week.